Shadowbrook Forest had always intrigued me with its dense canopy and tales of ancient curses. One summer, I decided to embark on a camping trip with friends deep into its heart, but little did we know that our adventure would turn into a terrifying ordeal none of us would ever forget. The forest was a place of wonder, with towering trees that stretched towards the sky, their leaves forming a natural umbrella that filtered the sunlight into a mesmerizing pattern on the forest floor. It was the perfect setting for a camping excursion, or so we thought. My friends and I set up our campsite near a tranquil stream that wound its way through the forest. The first evening was filled with laughter, the crackling of the campfire, and the comforting sounds of nature. It all seemed so idyllic, but that illusion would soon be shattered. As night descended upon Shadowbrook Forest, an unsettling silence settled over the landscape. The usual chorus of nocturnal creatures was conspicuously absent, and an oppressive darkness seemed to close in around us. The atmosphere became charged with an unexplainable tension. Around the campfire, my friends and I began to hear it, the faint sound of weeping. It was a mournful, heart-wrenching cry that seemed to come from all directions. We huddled together, trying to convince ourselves that it was just the wind playing tricks on our ears. But then, a spectral figure materialized from the darkness. It was a young woman, her eyes filled with an otherworldly sorrow. Her clothes were tattered, and her hair hung in disarray. She stood there, weeping silently, her gaze fixed on our campfire. We watched in terror as she slowly approached, her movements ethereal and graceful. The weeping grew louder, an eerie chorus of sorrow that seemed to emanate from her very being. My friends and I were paralyzed, unable to flee from the haunting apparition. As she drew closer, the woman extended her hand towards the campfire. Flames danced around her fingers, but she remained untouched by the searing heat. It was as if she were a specter of fire and shadow, a creature of the forest's darkest depths. With a voice that seemed to echo from the depths of the earth, she spoke. "You have entered the cursed realm of Shadowbrook Forest," she said, her words laced with anguish. "My soul is bound here, and now, so are yours." Before we could react, the forest itself seemed to come alive. The trees twisted and contorted, their branches reaching out like gnarled hands. Vines slithered across the forest floor, ensnaring our legs and pulling us to the ground. The weeping of the spectral woman grew louder, merging with the anguished cries of the forest. In a desperate bid for escape, we fought against the suffocating grip of the forest. With sheer determination, we managed to break free from the vines and ran blindly through the darkness. The weeping and the cries of the forest pursued us, a relentless cacophony that echoed in our ears. Hours later, we stumbled out of Shadowbrook Forest, our bodies bruised and battered, our minds forever scarred by the horrors we had witnessed. The forest had exacted a toll on us, leaving us with a chilling realization that some places are cursed, their secrets best left undisturbed. To this day, my friends and I avoid even the mention of Shadowbrook Forest, haunted by the memory of the spectral woman and the malevolent force that sought to claim us. The experience left us with a profound respect for the ancient curses that may lurk in the depths of the forest and a deep understanding that the wilderness can hold secrets beyond our comprehension. I've always been drawn to the beauty and solitude of the wilderness, and my passion for hiking often takes me to remote forests. One summer, I decided to explore Mistwood Forest, a place shrouded in local legends and whispered tales of eerie happenings. Little did I know that my journey into Mistwood would lead to a terrifying encounter that still haunts me to this day. Mistwood was a place of enchanting beauty, with towering trees that seemed to touch the sky, their leaves forming a natural canopy that filtered the sunlight into dappled patterns on the forest floor. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and pine needles as I ventured deeper into its heart. The day was perfect for a hike. The sky was painted in shades of blue, and a gentle breeze rustled the leaves above. I began my journey with a sense of wonder and excitement, eager to uncover the mysteries hidden within the forest's depths. As I hiked along a narrow trail, the forest began to change. The once vibrant greenery gave way to gnarled trees with twisted branches that seemed to claw at the sky. An eerie mist rolled in, obscuring my surroundings and muffling the sounds of the forest. I felt a growing unease in the pit of my stomach. The trail I followed led me deeper into the heart of Mistwood, and the mist thickened, enveloping me like a shroud. The forest had a presence, an otherworldly aura that made me question the wisdom of my decision to explore its depths. Eventually, the trail opened up to a small clearing. In the center of this clearing stood an ancient oak tree, its massive trunk covered in moss and strange symbols etched into the bark. The symbols seemed to pulse with an eerie energy, drawing me closer. It was there that I noticed something peculiar, a collection of intricately carved figurines encircling the tree. They looked like miniature people, each one bearing a unique expression of fear and anguish. Their faces were contorted in terror, and it was as though the very essence of their suffering had been captured in wood. Curiosity got the better of me, and I bent down to examine the figurines. As I touched one, a shiver ran down my spine, and a whisper seemed to emanate from the depths of the forest. It was a mournful, otherworldly sound, and it sent chills through my body. I stood up, suddenly feeling watched, and turned to leave the clearing. That's when I saw her, a spectral figure dressed in a tattered white gown, her long, disheveled hair obscuring her face. She stood among the trees at the edge of the clearing, swaying gently as if carried by an invisible breeze. My heart raced, and I stumbled backward, my eyes never leaving the ghostly apparition. She reached out a pale, bony hand toward me, her voice a haunting wail that filled the misty air. I couldn't move, paralyzed by fear. Then, as suddenly as she had appeared, the ghostly woman vanished into the mist. The forest fell silent, and the carved figurines at the base of the oak tree crumbled into dust, as if they, too, were released from a torment long endured. I fled from the clearing, my legs carrying me as fast as they could, and didn't stop until I was out of Mistwood Forest. The encounter had left me with a profound sense of unease and a chilling realization that some places hold secrets that should never be unearthed. To this day, I can't forget the eerie encounter in Mistwood. It serves as a haunting reminder that the natural world can hold mysteries far beyond our understanding, and that venturing too deep into the heart of darkness may lead to encounters with the unknown that are better left undisturbed. My fascination with the unknown led me to explore the mysteries of Wraithwood Grove, a forest known for its eerie reputation and whispered tales of supernatural occurrences. Little did I know that my journey into the heart of Wraithwood would expose me to the haunting whispers that still send shivers down my spine. Wraithwood was a place of paradoxical beauty and unease. Towering trees with branches that seemed to reach for the heavens cast long, shifting shadows on the forest floor. The rustling leaves and distant calls of forest creatures created an atmosphere of tranquility, but there was an undercurrent of tension that I couldn't ignore. I ventured into Wraithwood on a cloudy afternoon, my footsteps muffled by the thick layer of fallen leaves that carpeted the forest floor. The air was heavy with an unnatural stillness, and I felt as though I were being watched. As I followed a narrow trail deeper into the grove, I began to hear them, the whispers. faint at first, like a soft breeze through the trees, but gradually growing in volume and clarity. It was as if the very forest itself was speaking to me, its words filled with longing and despair. I stopped in my tracks, listening intently to the ethereal voices. They seemed to be coming from all around me, a symphony of murmurs that danced on the edge of my perception. I couldn't discern the words, but the emotions they conveyed were unmistakable: pain, sorrow, and an overwhelming sense of loss. With trepidation, I continued along the trail, unable to resist the pull of the haunting whispers. They led me deeper into the heart of Wraithwood, the forest growing darker and more oppressive with each step. The air grew colder, and a mist began to creep through the trees. I finally emerged into a small clearing bathed in an eerie, bluish light. In the center of the clearing stood an ancient oak tree, its gnarled branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. The whispers were now deafening, a cacophony of anguished voices that seemed to emanate from the very tree itself. And there, at the base of the oak, I saw them, apparitions of people, their ghostly forms translucent and shimmering. They were dressed in clothes from another era, their faces contorted with sadness. Some were weeping silently, while others reached out as if in search of solace. One spectral figure, a young woman with eyes filled with sorrow, approached me. She extended her hand, and I could feel the icy chill of her touch as our fingers brushed. Her voice, though barely more than a whisper, echoed in my mind. "Help us," she pleaded, her eyes filled with a haunting sadness. "We are trapped here, lost in the eternal darkness of Wraithwood. Set us free." Fear and compassion warred within me as I looked at the tormented souls trapped within the grove. The weight of their anguish pressed down on me, and I knew I couldn't turn my back on them. But as I reached out to touch the spectral woman, a malevolent force surged through the forest. The trees themselves seemed to come alive, their branches reaching out to ensnare me. The whispers turned from mournful to menacing, and I felt a suffocating darkness close in around me. With a burst of adrenaline-fueled strength, I tore myself free from the grasping branches and fled the clearing. The whispers followed me, a haunting chorus that echoed in my ears even as I left Wraithwood Grove behind. I never returned to that cursed forest, haunted by the memory of the spectral woman and the malevolent force that sought to claim me. The experience left me with a profound respect for the ancient curses that may lurk in the depths of the forest and a deep understanding that the wilderness can hold secrets beyond our comprehension.